Hello everyone, welcome to Python programming tutorial from rcvacademy.com. In this tutorial we are going to learn about the bitwise operators in Python. So I have already created a bitwise operators.py file and added some of the bitwise operators supported in Python in this file. So I'll cover about AND, OR, XOR, shift left and shift right operators in this tutorial. So let's get started and cover these one by one in action. So in the program that I have opened, you can see that I have two variables here, x and y, to which I have assigned integers. Then I have another variable z, wherein I'm assigning the bitwise operators. So I'll be performing some of the bitwise operators on x and y and assigning that value to z, and then printing all the values. On line 11 you can see that I have used f string and then formatted the values in binary, because these are the bitwise operators, so they'll it will be and these operators perform on the bits, so the number is converted into the bits, and the bitwise operators perform on the bits. So it will be easier for you to learn when you see it in action how these operators perform on the bits of a number. So I've converted this number x and y to binary so that you can see how these numbers will look as binary numbers, and then how these operators will perform on those binary numbers, so that you can understand these bitwise operators easily. So let's run this program and see what it will print for this program. So it should print the binary values of x and y, and then the binary value of the z, which is the AND operation of x and y. So let's run it quickly, and you can see the binary x is it prints the binary value of x, it prints the binary value of y, and it prints the binary value of z, which is the resultant of x and y operator. So what does AND does? So AND basically says if both the bits in the numbers, so for example in here you can see that I have printed x as 8-bit number, and then another I have formatted it as 8-bit. So you can see it compares bit by bit, and if we'll start from the last bit, number 8-bit. So if you see that the 8-bit in y is 1 and 8-bit in x is 0. So what AND operator does is it compares the last bit by last bit of the other number, and if both are same, so if x and y is same, then it says it sets that bit to 1, otherwise it sets it to 0. So here you can see, because 8-bit in x is 0 and 8-bit in y is 1, and that's why it has set it to 0. Now coming back to the next bit, which is 7th bit in y and 7th bit in x, you can see both bits are 1, and that is why in the result z it has been set to 1. And similarly it keeps comparing the rest of the bits, and you can see that there are no other bits set, so it has set all the bits in z as 0. So that's how the AND operator works in Python. Now if I change it to OR, so what does OR operator do? And this is simple binary logic, which is same, it doesn't matter which programming language, or it's the binary arithmetic that I might come up with more tutorials to cover the binary arithmetic later, but for this tutorial, just to explain you, I'll just cover a bit of AND, OR and XOR. So coming back to the OR operator, if you change x or y and I run it again, here you can see that it has, in the result binary z, it has set the last 2 bits as 1. So what OR does is it simply compares the bit by bit, and if any of the bit is set to true, so for example the last bit here is set to true in y but not in x, so it compares if any bit is true in any of these two numbers, it will set it to true. So here you can say 8th is true in Y, it will set it to true. And then similarly X, 7th bit in X is 1 and 7th bit in Y is 1, and that's why it has set it to 1. So OR operator checks the bits. If any of the bit is 1 or if both are set to 1, it sets to true, and that's why the Z has been calculated to 1 1 at the end, and then rest of the bits have been checked and none of the bits have been set to 1, so it has printed the remaining zeros. Now coming back to the XOR operator, so if I change it to XOR and run it, so now here you can see that the result is just last bit has been set to 1. So XOR, what XOR does is it checks bit by bit, and only if both so XOR operator checks bit by bit, and it checks the last bit in X and Y, and it will set it to true only if any one of the bit in these two numbers is set to true. So for example, in X you can see that last bit is set to false, and in Y it has been set to true, so it will set that the last bit in Z to true. But if both the bits are set to true, it will negate that, it will set it to 0. So only if it's opposite of OR. So in OR what it does is it sets the value to true if both the bits are set to true, or even if one of the bit is set to true. But in XOR it will set it to true only if one bit is true and not the other. So it's sort of opposite of OR. Now coming back to shift left and shift right. So shift left will shift the digits to left. So for example, if I want to shift left this X by 2, I'll just say shift left 2, and then I'll print. Let me comment the last line here, and what I'll do is I'll print, I'll do F string, and I'll format and show you how it will print the shift left operator. All right, so okay, so now what it will print is it will print Z. Now you can see that, let me print default X as well so it's more clear. Okay, so here I'll print X, which is the default, or without the shift left, and then in the second line I'm printing Z, which has been shifted left by 2 bits. So let's see what the result will be. So here you can see the binary X is 6 zeros and then 1 0. Right now what I have done is in Z I have shifted left X by 2. So you can see that this 1 has been shifted from 2nd place to 4th place, so it has been shifted left to 2 places, and that's how shift left works in binary. Now if I change it to shift right, and I'll just do 1 and run again, and now you can see the original binary X was 1 0 and the Z has been shifted right, so the digit here has been shifted right, and 1 which was at the 7th position has been shifted to 8th position, and that's how shift right operator works in bitwise operator in Python. So hope you like this tutorial. Please do share and subscribe. Thank you.